for anybody that is first time here, we're Thrively, and we build fully managed websites for local service businesses. So our clients are typically made up of trades, so electricians, plumbers, groundworks, salons, clinics, accountants, solicitors, professional services, businesses that are on the high street, local businesses serving a local audience who need to be able to dominate those spaces. And we do that by implementing something we call the Thrively framework, which is 3 steps. And the first is basically getting you found, second is trusted, and the second is booked or closing a sale, depending on the type of business that you're working for. And today we're going to be focusing on the final part of this, which is booked, or how to get people to actually convert and do business with you. So we covered found, how to show up on Google. Then we did trusted, and there's, like I say, this one is the last one, which is basically when we actually get them to your site, they're on your site and they like what they see. How do we actually get them to buy or book very, very quickly and very easily, without people sort of wandering off and not actually doing the very thing that we want them to do. So before we get into it, let's have a think about where you are now with your current website. So this is a really simple website map. And there's a copy of this in your workbook. It's a little bit small on the screen, but essentially what it is, along the bottom, what we've got here is basically, do you understand what's happening? Are you in control of what's happening with your website? Are you managing it? Do you know what your metrics are? Do you know how to influence those metrics? And on the left-hand side, we've got business. So is new business coming into your business as a result of your website? And at the top, obviously, that's a lot of business coming in. At the bottom, we haven't got very much business coming in at all. So let me walk you through it. So the thing that we're all looking to do is we're looking to dominate. So we want to dominate. And in most cases, the people that we're talking about dominating the area in which you serve. So if you have a business that supplies a local area, we want to make sure that we dominate in that area. We're not particularly worried about different parts of the country or whatever, unless, of course, you're a national business. So when you dominate, that means that you are always getting inquiries, you're getting leads, you're getting sales, you're getting bookings, and they're steadily coming through, and you understand what you did in order to get your website into that state, which essentially means that you can kind of turn it up and turn it down based on what you're looking to achieve at any particular time. And then we find that a lot of people, they kind of know what they should be doing and they have a vague understanding of what needs to be done. But running a small and medium-sized company is blooming busy. It takes a lot of time and a lot of effort. So sometimes it just doesn't make the urgent box in your to-do list. You know, we know that it's important, but things come at us all the time and we end up doing other things. But and then the third one, which is quite a common one, and I call this winging it, which is not a particularly technical term, so forgive me for that. But this is basically where, you know, it's kind of doing okay. You think you're getting some bookings, you think you're getting sales, you think you're getting leads. People tell you that they see it, but you don't really understand how it's doing it. You certainly can't influence or turn up or turn down the responses for it. And if anything happened where it tanked or stopped performing, you certainly wouldn't understand what that was all about. And then the final bit is in the bottom left-hand corner there, is basically you haven't really got off the ground. You might have a website, you might not have a website, but actually you don't really think it's doing very much for you and you don't really know why. And whatever you do, it doesn't seem to be turning the needle on it and the improvement on it. So before we get going, just to get a feel for who I'm talking to, if you could have a quick think about where you think you are in terms of that. So if we would say that you were dominating, I'd say put 1 in the chat. If you are a bit frustrated, you know it's something that needs a bit more of your attention, I would say put 2 in the chat. If you're winging it and it's kind of there and you're not really sure whether it's doing it or not, or how it's doing it, put 3 in the chat. And if you're stuck and you just don't know what to do next and whatever you do doesn't seem to turn the needle, put number 4 in there. So we've got 1, 2, 3, or 4. Let's give that a second while we put things in there and tell me what we've got as we come into there. We got anything going in that chat yet, Kate?
We've got one person having a 4, one a 3. I can't see people's names on today's video. To be honest. Everyone is called Colin Shove.
Yeah,
So
we've had a bit of a Zoom a Zoom crisis yet again. Where it's calling everybody their name. So we got 4s, we got 3s. Okay, so someone who's stuck and someone who's not quite sure what's happening, and that's absolutely great and understandable, or winging it. Sorry, and that is quite commonplace when we're in there. So let's go on to the next the next piece of the puzzle. So they've found you, they've got on your site, they like the look of you, they trust you, and they believe that you can help, and they're ready to go ahead. And then the moment passes, because getting in touch, buying, booking, leaving information, or contacting you, getting a quote or whatever, was just basically a bit of a faff. And so they left, they didn't get in touch, they didn't make an appointment, and you're never going to hear back, because they pressed next and they've gone to the next site where they're going to get it. We're more brutal anywhere, on Google than we are anywhere. Sorry, we're more brutal on Google than we are anywhere. We're very unforgiving and not really interested in the effort that you've put into your site. So if it's a bit of a faff, you're not going to get the connection that you're looking for. And a booking lost at the very last step, after you've done all of that hard work to get them there and then convince them that you can do you've got what they're looking for, seems a bit tough. Which takes us to the next piece, which is what I call the tap test. So it's really easy. Right? So open up your own website. If you've got a phone in front of you now, open up your own website and start on your homepage, which is probably the busiest page that you've got there. And then count how many taps it takes to actually reach you. So how many times have you actually got to tap your website in order to be able to either make a call, start a booking, complete a form, or whatever it is. Count those and see where it is. And what I would say is that 1 tap is going to be really good. 2 is okay, and anything more than 3, we need to be looking at how we can optimize that. If I just bring up an example of a site here, so I've just brought my phone up in front of me there, and what we can see is we've got a mobile site here. We're on the homepage. The main call to action on this website is to call. So we can see 1 tap takes us to the top, and that literally is, you press the button and it dials the business. We've got the same call to action above the fold here, like so. And as we scroll down the page, we've got other options for people to get in touch with us as well. So wherever we are, we've literally just got to move our thumb a little bit in order to be able to contact. So we've got a 1 tap, excuse me, a 1 tap contact, which is exactly what we're looking for. So essentially what we're going to do today is 3 simple steps to turn your interest into bookings or contacts. It's going to give you a concrete action for each one that you do, and then we'll make the next step immediately obvious, and then we're going to show you how to make that effortless so that people stay and do business with you. So step 1, a ready visitor is looking for one thing. What do I do now? So I've found you. I think you've got what I want. What's the next thing I need to be able to do? Who are you? What do you do? What do I do now? And if your page doesn't answer that extremely clearly, they hesitate. And when they hesitate, the chances are you're going to lose the inquiry. So we need to make the next step extremely obvious. And think about the pages on your site. Do they end with a clear invitation, or do they just stop? So a page that informs must not, ask a visitor to leave without actually getting something from it. We need to be able to make that really easy for them to understand exactly what the next thing is. And another thing that makes it really clear is basically having one clear point on each one. So it's call now, book now, request a quote. What we don't want is lots and lots of things. We want to keep it uber clear where we are. so that people can't miss it. And the way they can't miss it is typically in the top right-hand corner. If you can put it onto your nav bar at the top, that's going to make an extraordinary difference to you. And also a bit further down the page as well, just in case people have scrolled down further and they want to be able to do something. And here's a trap that's really easy to fall into. Essentially, you start putting like 5 or 6 call to actions on one page, because we want to be helpful and we want to cover every single base with every page that we've done. But when everything shouts, nothing gets heard. And what we see is that confused visitors do nothing. They just press next and they go through. So we're looking at one primary action, make it a loud one, and make it quiet, make the quieter stuff sit below that and further down. Something that is really useful to know, and this is just a really small tip. If we look at this thing on my phone, what site on my phone again, is when you have your primary call to action above the fold, we can see we've got it here above the fold, and we've also got it on the nav bar at the top there, is the wording and the background color is identical. So we know green is the primary thing that we're looking for. We haven't got different colors pulling people in different directions. We're keeping everything nice and clean and nice and easy. So here's your next section. So basically take your busiest page, the one that most visitors land on. You can get that from your metrics dashboard. Typically, unless you're doing lots of SEO work, it's going to be your homepage. Decide what the most important thing your clients can do, or your potential clients can do. If it's an appointment-led business, it's probably book. If it's a trade, it might be get a quote, or it might be buy now, or it might be contact us or fill a form. And make sure that that is the primary call to action, which is both above the fold and in the top right-hand corner, which is the most valuable real estate that we have on a website. And then get it live. And then go to your second busiest page and do the same thing, your third busiest page and do the same thing. The thing is to take the low-hanging fruit and have the biggest impact first when you're doing it. It's so many times we spend time working on a page that takes us 2 days to update, and then we look at the metrics afterwards and realize that 3 people have seen that in the last 2 months, and one of them's your mum and one of them's your dad. Step 2 is knowing what to do is not the same thing as being able to do it easily. So every extra tap, every long form with too many fields, every hoop, every click is a reason to stop. And as I said earlier, we're more brutal on Google than we are anywhere. So don't give people an opportunity to press back or lose their flow, as it were. And then people that are on their phone, they're busy, and they tend to have not too much patience. They often tend to be in a bit of a hurry. And the business that's easiest to contact often wins ahead of the one which might even be a better business or a more appropriate product, but harder to reach. Reaching you the path of least resistance will have the greatest impact that you can have. And the 3 big ones on a phone, and most people that are visiting you or tend to be visiting you on a phone, should be tap to call. So 1 tap and you're ringing. None of this going to a different page to load something, to do anything. If you've got a telephone number, make sure you've got a hyperlink behind it so people can click on it. In a perfect world, get some kind of icon of a telephone, or say call with the telephone number, make that interactive so it's 1 click and they call you. Your contact form, should ask for the fewest amount of fields to be completed that you need. So, you're probably going to need a name. You want a method to contact someone, and that might vary from business to business. And maybe you need a short message, but the closest you can get that to 3, the better. It will make an enormous difference. 2 would be perfect, but sometimes we just need a little bit more clarity before we contact someone. And then give people a choice, so they can call you, they can complete, they can complete a form, or they can send you a message. And if it suits you, so if you're an appointment-led business, like a salon or a clinic or a dentist, we want to be booking. because we can actually avoid having to speak to anybody at all, and it's 2026 and no one speaks to anyone anymore. So your action on your busiest page, make your phone number tap to call, and cut your contact form as close to 3 fields as you can possibly get it. It's so name, telephone number, or name, email, telephone number, message, the shortest that you can possibly get it. And then check that someone on a phone can reach you with one tap. If they've got a telephone number, it's got to be one tap, and that makes all the difference. And you can do everything right and the inquiry, and you can still lose the job by being slow to reply. So follow up really, really quickly when people are on the phone. When someone reaches out, they are ready right then. They're in the mode. They're in the zone. They're looking to do something. You compare that to the physical world. I was in a department store a few weeks ago. I had 2 or 3 things in my hands. I looked around for somewhere to pay. One till, had a big queue. I couldn't see another one, and I thought, I just can't be bothered to wait. Put the items back down, and I walked away. And people are doing that virtually on your website all the time if you don't make it uber easy for them to be able to get in touch and make it easier. So responding to them is extremely important. The longer that you take, the colder they go. I was looking at some data recently, and the drop-off rate happens in minutes, not hours or days. It makes an enormous difference. So you leave it till tomorrow, the moment is almost definitely past, and you've lost the opportunity to be able to do anything. So you don't need to be glued to your inbox, but what you do need is a system. So an instant alert to your phone, the moment inquiry lands, not an email that you check at the end of the day, and then having a reply ready. So with our Thrively sites, we have a tool in there where we can send a text message to the account owner when a lead comes in. So if a lead comes in, or a contact comes in, or an inquiry comes in, it will send the email through to the community email box, but it will also send a text message to one or some mobiles as well. So everyone is aware that lead is coming, and it can be dealt with really quickly. And clarity on who owns that reply. So if there's more than one of you in the business, or several of you in the business, and you think, well, Kate did it, no, Colin did it, no, Tom did it, we need to make sure that the person that needs to make that reply is the person that is doing it, and there's no ambiguity about who that is. So your action for step 2 is to set up an instant alert for every inquiry, so that your reply lands on their phone while they're still on their phone having contacted you. If you're doing this manually because there's a low volume, go into your notes, create a couple of templates, copy, paste, reply to your client from it. Basically stop people leaking as we come through. So 3 actions this week. Number 1, make it effortless to act. So tap to call, keep your forms short. Add a fast follow-up, an instant alert, and be ready to reply, so that when your potential clients or customers are getting in touch, you're getting back to them very, very quickly. And do those 3 things, and the interest that you worked to get them there, keep them there, it is going to start to, the outcome of that will be real business people coming in. And finally, something that again makes a really big difference is just remembering that done beats perfect. So often we spend hours trying to perfect every little thing, and actually hold on to the rule that has run through the whole series that we've put the previous 2 sessions here, is done beats perfect. So get it good, and then get it live, and then optimize it. I'm a bbig fan of old sales books and recordings. There was a chap called Zig Ziglar, I don't know if you've heard of him, but basically he said that what was it? So something like you don't have to be great to start, but you have to start to be great. So it's literally, so you just have to make a start in order to get the outcome that you're looking for. So, and start with your busiest pages first, and start working down. Don't spend time working on a page that's no one visiting. Go to the page that everyone's visiting, make sure that's right, and then go down in order of priority. anyway, that completes all of the stuff that we've done. So we got found, trusted, and booked. It make sure people can find you. When they do find you, make sure that they're convinced that they're in the right place and that they can trust you and you're a good business, and then make it really easy for them to do business with you. So found, trusted, and booked, all working together. And that's what basically takes your website from something that causes you work into something that brings you business. So everything that we've talked about in these sessions you can do. And we're very happy to do that, and we hope that you do that. But if you're in that zone where you can't ever make this stuff urgent enough to get onto it, that's exactly what we do at Thrively. We offer fully managed, fully done for you websites. You literally don't have to lift a finger. You can book a short call with myself or Kate, and we'll look at your website together. We'll go through the 3 steps. We'll show you where your biggest wins are. There's no pressure and there's no obligation. And there's a QR code that you can scan here on the slide to make an appointment. And also, Kate, if you could just drop the booking link into the chat for me, that would be awesome as well. Okay, do we have any questions at all?
I had a couple of questions come up that I know are common questions I get from people just based on some of the bits you've said. Number one was super simple. You were using the phrase below the fold. What does that mean for people who don't know? Because it's a really important concept.
Sorry, Kate, you spoke just a little bit quickly there and I didn't catch the question. Can you say
Oh,
that?
sorry. I was saying you use the phrase below the fold a few times, and it's a concept that some people don't instinctively know, but it's really important. What does it mean?
Brilliant. Cool. Let me show you. So if we come onto here, so let's get onto the thing. So what you can see when you land on your site is this, and this is what we call above the fold. It comes from the old newspaper days when the newspapers used to get folded in half and they get put through the letterbox. Someone would open the newspaper, and what they could see on that first half of the page is what's called above the fold, and that's the stuff that you put that is most important. So in this instance, for example, we've got expert bathroom design and domestic plumbing in Brighton. So the most important bit of information that we can put onto that screen is put above the fold. Our most important call to actions are above the fold, and then we start to deprioritize as we go below the fold. So this is where people scroll in order to, express proper interest. They're scrolling down to find more about you, and that information is not what they see when they first open your page.
Thank you. Yeah, and my second question was around this concept of picking up an inquiry fast enough. We are a small business. We work with small businesses. Resources are something you don't have a 24/7 call center. What are your options around picking up those inquiries fast enough? And does an automation devalue it? Is that going to have more of a negative effect than positive?
No, I mean, what I would say, Kate, and that's a really good question, is it comes back to our, done is better than perfect. So in a perfect world, you'll have a real human sitting there waiting to pick a telephone up and talk to somebody in that instant if that's what they want. But if that person is looking at their phone at 10 o'clock at night and that business closes at 5:30, that's not reality. That doesn't happen. So the second best thing is to respond promptly with an automation. But I think when we send automations, we need to make it feel like that person has been seen. So if they've given us a name, we use a name. We sign it off with a name. We make it personable. And I think that's a really important thing. When we do our own lead generation through our website, we see a tremendous number of people fall off the longer that we leave it in order to contact people. So having that first automation softens that, and it shows that you're a professional business. The important thing, I think, more than anything, is if you say we will call you between these hours, that you call them between those hours. You don't leave it another day to run.
Fab. Thank you very much.
Cool. Okay. Well, listen, thanks everybody for coming along. We're going to be doing another one of these in 2 weeks' time, where we're going to be talking about how we get recommended and found using AI. And again, thanks very much for your time. It's been really great speaking to you, and I hope that you found it valuable.